Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twists. My name is Joseph Lewis, and I'm joined here today by my co-host, as always, Anthony Bull.
Hello. How are you today, Joe?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good.
We're gathered today on our podcast to speak about an episode of Round the Twist, an 80s, 90s television program that aired in the 80s and 90s.
What? Is that
To
what
talk
that means?
about, I don't know.
Are you sure?
I just make words with my
Sure
mouth.
it's not 80%, 90% greatness?
It is also that.
Yes. Alright.
But primarily, it was a show that aired in the 80s and 90s. And we're gathered here today, the two of us, to speak about Spaghetti Pig Out. Probably the episode that I have the largest amount of nostalgia for, because every time it rained as a kid in primary school, they would put this on in the library. So I've probably seen this episode upwards of 20 times.
That's funny then. We're watching it today and it was just pouring down rain. You know, isn't that weird?
It is weird.
Is it a bit of an Illuminati conspiracy?
Illuminati confirmed.
It is confirmed, alright.
Spaghetti Pig Out is an episode where they find a controller
Remote control?
that for some reason has the powers to use its powers on people and objects.
I guess so. It's some sort of remote control. If I had the remote control right now, I'd be blasting at those birds. And there's some kids next door who just, I don't know, I guess they're being kids playing games, but, you know, I'd probably put on the mute button or something. I don't know. Maybe if there's an go inside button, it'd be better.
A go inside button. It's right next to record.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure about the physics of this control, but
I don't know. I think physics just goes out the window for a second.
how does it work?
Magic. You ever see the movie Click?
Yes.
Yeah, you see the movie Click? Well, however it works in Click world.
Did Click steal
Yes.
from Spaghetti Pig Out?
Yes, I wrote that in my notes. Let me write, hang on, where it is.
Adam Sandler.
Yep.
Fraud.
Adam Sandler was like, oh, that's $1 million idea right there. And did it make $1 million? Probably did.
It made a lot more than $1 million.
I like Click.
Making
I like
$1 million from a Hollywood movie is a terrible failure.
But did he make $1 million, though?
Did he make $1 million?
Yes.
I would imagine so.
And it's his production company made it, probably. Happy Madison or whatever it is.
I guess.
Is that
maybe
what they call it? Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And it's like the golf ball that hits the screen. Is that
Maybe.
the thing?
I think so, yeah.
So we're talking about Spaghetti Pig Out, and we start the episode with our theme song.
Yeah,
very iconic.
Yep.
Every episode start with a theme song, except for the first one.
Except for the first one, yeah.
And then we go into our teaser scene, where we get a little bit about what's going to happen in the episode. This week, a little bit different. A little bit different this week. We get, instead, the actual origin of the remote. Because normally we just get like a thematic scene, something to show us like what the episode's about. This week, we actually get information that is actually part of the episode and is canon. I assume they couldn't fit into the actual episode because there's so much going on.
Yeah. Well, it's what? It's like, this is probably from my early experience, like, this is probably the most action-packed episode. Like,
So
there's
far,
so much
definitely.
stuff happening in it. Like, there's just too much.
When we watch the episode, we generally take some notes.
We
And
just
some
stop.
weeks it's not hard because there's not a terrible lot that happens.
Yeah.
Especially Birdsdoe. I'm looking at you.
Yes.
But this week,
Let's
this
not get
week,
into that discussion.
I had to stop this multiple times so we could catch up because there's so much happening.
To be fair, they were using a remote control that made people speed up and slow down. So when they sped things up, it was like, wow, things are going really fast, so I need to write down this really fast.
Yeah, so pretty action-packed. But so we start off with our teaser scene, as we were saying, and lightning, it's in the middle of a storm, and lightning strikes the lighthouse where the Twists live.
Yeah.
And it goes through the building, through the TV, I think, and hits the remote control and gives it magical powers.
That doesn't make any sense at all. Are they, like, we discussed how Nell's family or whatever,
Yep,
were at
are
the
ghosts.
top. Now, let's just run on this conspiracy, the theory that, Nell is normal. Well, we all know she's not, okay? But let's just, for the sake of argument, say she's a normal person.
Yep.
Are the ghosts infusing the electricity with power or something?
Well,
Because this is the second time that's happened, I think.
there are multiple...
Right? It's been struck by lightning once before.
No.
Was that the outhouse?
Dunny. So one of the things I wanted to bring up was we discussed where the lightning would actually hit the outhouse in episode 1.
Yeah.
Because we discussed the theory that the lighthouse would act as a lightning conductor.
Yeah.
That theory is confirmed.
Yeah.
We were correct. Paul Jennings.
Yep.
Inconsistent.
Mate. Well, maybe Paul Jennings would be like, well, now that the Dunning's destroyed, there's no
Superconductor.
We call it a super lightning rod.
So, what was the guy in the outhouse? Ned? Dead Ned?
Dead Ned.
Dead Ned's ghostly powers had infused the outhouse to become a super electric conductor, which bypassed the lighthouse itself.
I like where you're going with this.
But
this is a good rabbit hole.
That theory
Yes.
assumes that ghosts have the power to conduct electricity.
I assume that.
Okay.
I always thought they did.
So we've got one ghost in the outhouse, but how many ghosts do we have in the lighthouse itself?
Well, how many episodes are there of Round of the Twist this season?
No, but we've only got... There's at least 2 that we know of, because there's at
Yeah.
least 2 instruments in the magical music that we'll talk about a little bit later. But they're up at the top of the
I'm going to
lighthouse.
say 4.
4.
4. I don't see why not.
Nell's ever-expanding ghostly family.
Yeah. It's always her family, something like that. You know.
Just strange mechanics, strange
I
things.
mean, it infuses it with superpowers, and Tony Stark would be interested in that. You know, if he could harness the power of ghosts, you know, that's how he made Iron Man's suit.
He infused it with the power of ghosts?
Yes, like ghost powers.
What would a ghost-infused Iron Man suit look like?
Like regular Iron Man, except really spooky.
Okay, we launch out of that into the actual episode, and we've got the classroom, we've got the twists, the twin twists in the classroom, and Tiger, I think, is the smaller Gribble companion.
I call him Small Gribble.
Small Gribble.
Yeah.
He's our commentator.
Yeah.
He's like a wannabe AFL commentator.
He probably would be an AFL commentator. I mean,
Do you think he is now?
I don't know.
He's got to be at least 35 by now.
If he is, we should get him on our podcast. If you're out there and you're listening to this, and
He's not listening to this.
You never know. He might be like, "Oh man, I wish I could go on a podcast about Round the Twist." Oh boy, and then we'll
I like Round the Twist, as evidenced by us talking about it every week.
Yeah.
But if I was on Round the Twist as a child, I would do everything in my power to forget that ever happened, and move on with my life.
Maybe it's like, you know, there's some of those people, vets from Vietnam, who have to go back to Vietnam.
They have to go back.
Yeah, so they have to go back to Round the Twist. You know.
Or like anyone who's ever been on the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Will show up at a pop culture convention.
Well, I mean, you get paid, I guess, at those things. Do you get paid at those things?
Yes, because people will get their autograph and stuff.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I guess so.
You know, you have
I mean,
that
I
one
can
guy,
imagine that there'd be like a little
a sliding scale.
sort of to the point where it starts to slide up, where you actually sort of negotiate like a deal because maybe you have a book out or something. You've written up something.
Yeah.
Like the original Black Power Ranger, right?
Yeah. My Adventures. Is
Or something
original
like, you
Black Power
know,
Ranger.
conquering racism.
Yeah.
How as a Black Power Ranger I conquered racism. Or something,
What would his
right?
book be called?
Black
Fighting-
It would call Black Power.
Fighting Black?
I just call it Black Power. Why wouldn't it be Black Power?
Fighting for colour.
Mighty Morphin Power Anti-Racism. So he'd have his book out and he'd be like, "Oh, can I get on this panel?" And they'd be like, "Oh, we're pretty full, but I'll pay you money." I don't know how Supernova works.
What, you think he pays the money to get onto
Well,
the
it
panel?
depends. Sometimes it's like that. You ever see like we'll talk about a different one now. Current affair. And
Yeah.
someone's on a current affair and they're
Yeah.
always like, "Oh, a resident expert, such and such." You know, they don't pay for that thing, but in exchange for the free PR, because they say, "Oh, I've written a book about this subject," they don't have to pay anything, and they get like this really cool, credible source. Well, this one's like, well, if you want to spruik your book, you can, because what are you going to get someone to sign?
The book?
The book? Why not sign the
Or
book?
a glossy photograph of yourself?
Yeah, why not?
Can you imagine a future
Yeah.
where we are at conventions signing glossy photographs of lighthouses?
Yes, I can see that. And then they take it into like a pawn shop and they'll be like, "I know who the hell these people
Yeah,
are.
what is
Who is this? Who's this Anthony Bull guy?" Yeah, I'll sign it
30
under my pen name.
30 cents on eBay?
30 cents on eBay.
Even that's a bit
I mean,
expensive.
you'd have to actually ship it, so the cost of shipping is not even worth it, is
It's
it?
like that whole thing with Game of Thrones where people are saying that an unsigned copy of Game of Thrones is worth more than a signed copy of Game
every
of Thrones
copy is
because
signed.
George Martin doesn't spend time writing his books, he just spends time autographing his books. So Tiger is trying to convince the class to do a spaghetti eating competition and to raise money for something.
Yes.
I don't think it's important. I didn't write it down.
It was a gymnasium.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
a new gymnasium for the school?
Yep. And the winner of the competition, who could eat the most, got a 10-speed bike.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. Well, I mean, those are pretty expensive. Like, when we saw it, it looked like a racer.
Did we see it?
Yeah, at the end, it was this racer. It had the curved handles. It had, like, it looked a lot more like a racer than a mountain bike. So that's probably, like, probably $1,000.
Really?
Or so. $1,500 maybe? Well, like, races aren't cheap. They're really expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine Gribble would pay the least amount of money for anything. So we're going to say it's a really cheap one.
$50 at Crazies.
I'm actually surprised that Gribble sponsored the damn thing. It's like, why would I sponsor that?
He'll
I can't
do
make any
anything
money.
to
Get famous, I guess?
Yeah, well, like, you got to stand up at the actual competition and be like, oh, yep, that was me.
That was me.
I'm a good person.
I'm a good person. He could do even better. He could just
donate
to
school.
the gymnasium.
Yeah.
Like, screw this whole spaghetti contest. I don't know.
How much are people paying to see this spaghetti contest?
I don't understand how the system works. I assume that they go out into the community. That's what I assume. I don't know. They go out into the community and they sponsor the kid to eat. And they eat however many bowls they eat is how many, like, they sponsor for that. Because that makes the most sense.
But wouldn't that be like a spaghetti-thon? This is like a spaghetti eating competition.
It's both, though. Because, like, you think about it, if you have a competition, it's like you eat as many as you can against one another. You'll eat more because of competition.
Yeah.
So,
but you're not actually incentivized to eat a lot of plates. You're incentivized to eat the most amount of plates without throwing up.
Yeah.
So that could mean you just eat one plate and everyone else throws up.
Yeah, but that's like what's his name? Not Prison's Dilemma. It's Cartel Game Theory.
Cartel game theory.
You know what it was.
It's been a long time since I studied economics.
Right. Yeah, I know. So, like, you're in a cartel, and it's like you promise not to stop going in competition with one another. So you predict that your opponent might go with one bowl only. So you eat 2 bowls. But your opponent would predict that you eat 2 bowls. So you have to eat 3 bowls.
Okay.
And then the thing is, it's like, should I betray on week 1 or week 2 or week 3? So the end is you should always betray.
Oh.
See, that's game theory. You should always sell out the other guy because that's the best thing, right?
Yeah.
Business dilemma. Should always rat out the other guy.
That's the way that particular...
By the way, there's a dog here. He is at our feet, and he is... Hello. What's up? You going to be a guest podcast host?
Being...
Oh, that's a good dog.
Being close to the start of our podcasting careers, we are not flushed for choice of podcasting locations. So today, we're podcasting from my shed, and my enormous dog is rampaging about, whacking us with his tail.
He's less of a dog and more of a beast.
Machine. Beast of burden.
He's more beast than man.
Chance, sit.
This dog's actually doing it. It's pretty amazing.
Good boy. Okay.
Back to what we were talking about. We were talking about the spaghetti podcasting.
Yes.
Yep. I don't know what it was about. Let's just say that if you're ever in a situation where you and someone else are caught by the cops and they offer you a deal, you should always betray your friend.
No, that's only in the specific circumstances of the prisoner's dilemma. It's not every time that you're caught out you should rattle your mates.
time.
It's only because of the way that the numbers
The way
work
the thing
on
works,
thing.
yeah.
It's like if you both do the good thing, you both got off really well. But if you if one of you dobs in, then you're much more worse off. Whereas if you both dob in, you're not as bad as
because like even if you both dob in, right? It's like let's say that you got 20 years in prison for one person to go in. Like let's say you're both arrested, you both get 10 years in prison. But if one of you betrays and the other person doesn't, that person who betrays gets set free, and the other guy goes to jail for 20 years.
This is not the correct numbers.
Whatever. It's not the correct numbers. But my point is, and then of course, if neither of you betray, then you both get set free. I think.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it was the percentage chances that set up.
No, it's because if you both dob in, you're badly off. But if your friend dobs you in and you don't dob him in, you're much worse off.
Yeah.
So you should always dob in because the two opportunities of what happened, you dobbing him in and him not dobbing you in and you both dobbing each other in, are better than compared to the other scenario.
Yeah. Oh. No, there you go. I didn't do economics. I did business.
Yeah, I did economics a long time ago, so let's not dwell on that. But as soon as the competition is announced, Linda and Fiona, they just straight away jump on this bandwagon of we're going to boycott this.
Why?
Because it's a waste of food.
It's stupid.
The show has labelled them as feminist. That's one of their main defining qualities.
Yeah.
And apparently the causes that they like to crusade for are not the best.
What I love is that they're like, oh, we're going to boycott this. And at the thing, they're like, you know, only pigs pig out. You know, they have these boycotts. And then once the thing started, they go and sit down and they watch.
So what we're saying is that later on in the episode, they must pay to get into this competition so that they can, well, I'm assuming, how else would they get in? So they can hold up posters that say only pigs pig out.
Yeah, that's true. So then they're actually contributing. It's like, well, your message is irrelevant because you've already started contributing. Unless, like, you're going to go into some bullshit where it's like, if you're an anarchist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and your idea about it is that you should protest by not voting.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, hang on, if you don't vote, then you're never going to change the system.
Yeah, but like...
You got to try to push it towards libertarianism and then just be like, okay, guys, let's become anarchists now.
Doesn't that go against your values to vote? If you truly believe in anarchism, voting is not that.
But the thing is, if you're trying to make change, if you're trying to motivate change within an organization towards something else, right?
You need to actually be
You have to be a part of the system. You can't be like, oh, I'm not going to be part of the system. Unless you're going to be one of those people who's like, I don't support it, right? But I'm okay if you support it. And then in which case, that's just, you don't want to ruffle any feathers, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
could happen. Anyway, we've got a new mini segment that I've developed, and I think it's appropriate for this. It's called Pun of the Day.
Pun of the Day.
Today, in Pun of the Day, Linda has just said, I'm going to boycott this competition because it's a waste of food. And then immediately we get from Rabbit, don't you mean a girl cot?
Oh!
Pun of the Day.
Pun. That was great pun. Actually, Pete was probably like, he was really jealous, I can imagine. He's just like, oh my
Pete
gosh.
was seething with jealousy.
I'm the pun master. This is the start of the tensions between those two.
They ask Tiger, who's the little one, they ask him, wait, no. I'm confused. Which one is it? The small one is Tiger?
I don't know, small Gribble,
Yeah, the small
fat Gribble, and other Gribble.
The small talky Gribbles, they ask him why he's not going to do it, because the Gribbles are going to put the big fat one in.
Yeah.
He says, I'm on doctor's orders to rest my mouth.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's
He's
the one
always
that talks
talking.
all the time.
And all the students were just like,
that guy.
This guy, he's got the humor.
Always trying to get out of things.
Also, to perchance, like, he's very small. So, why would you go with him?
Also, he's quite good at commentating.
He's quite good at commentating. Like,
Why would you
do it? He should be the commentator presenter. Yeah. He would be the best person for the role. And that's not just because he's associated with Gribble. It's just, he is better at it. And you need someone like that to be a good host.
Snapper would be good as well, in fairness.
Who's Snapper?
Snapper's the teacher.
Oh, yeah. I guess so. But then you want it to be like a student initiative, maybe? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
It feels a little bit better than if it comes from a teacher.
We cut from the classroom to Tony in the lighthouse, and he's making some art here with tinned spaghetti.
No, he's not. He's making it with tinned baked beans.
There was spaghetti there as well, right?
No, it's baked beans.
Was it just baked beans?
And I drew that parallel. I saw what Paul Jennings was saying right there.
What was the parallel?
All right. We all know that Gribble, all right, he's a capitalist. He's a right-wing capitalist.
Yeah.
There's no other way about it. He's painted that way. Now, we know... What side of this political fence does Mr. Twist swing?
Well, it's hard to tell, but
we know he's the Greens. He supports the Greens.
Yeah.
He's got it on his thing, so he swings from the left. So baked beans is a left-wing, pinko commie food. All right?
Why is it a pinko commie food?
I don't know, because all beans are the same. They're all part of one collective bean. Maybe spaghetti, those long strands of individualism. I don't know. So that's what I think the message was.
You can get like a really munted bean.
Yeah, you can, but like, I don't know, it's when they're
It's still a bean?
If you picked a singular bean, right, and looked at it, it would be ugly and do nothing. But if you put them all together in a large pile of baked beans, they work as a collective, cohesive unit for the betterment of your food. Long live the revolution.
It's very hard to tell the beans apart.
It is true.
Whereas spaghetti, they're all different lengths.
Some of them are really long, some of them are too short.
Some of them are delicious.
Some of them are just undercooked. All right, we can't be supporting the system. The system cannot be propping up bad spaghetti. All right, that's what this message is trying to say.
What is it trying to say? Baked beans are the food of the left,
of the proletariat.
The proletariat, and spaghetti is the food of the
bourgeoisie,
the bourgeois
of the free market.
And which side does Jennings lie on? Paul Jennings, the
Paul
author
Jennings is clearly
that set
like
this all in motion.
Paul Jennings is clearly left wing because you think about this as well.
Okay.
It's called the spaghetti pig out.
Yes.
Now, spaghetti is an Italian food, right? Okay.
Okay.
Now, keep going with this. Now, what else is a pig? What does someone call someone a pig? Fascists, of course.
Fascist.
You fascist pig. Who was the biggest fascist pig in Italy? It's Mussolini, of course. So this pig out is actually about Mussolini.
Okay.
Somehow.
It's very tentative link.
I don't think there's a link there at all, but
There
I'm
is
just
no
saying, just saying that Paul Jennings thinks there's a link, and that's okay.
And that's all right.
It's all right.
We
We're
love
allowed
Paul
to. We
Jennings.
love to slander Paul Jennings on this podcast.
If Paul Jennings ever listens to this podcast,
He'd be like,
we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, it's okay. We're talking about the fictional character Paul Jennings in my novel called called Paul Jennings Thinks, not Paul Jennings the writer.
Will you ever
Twist.
release this novel?
No, I won't, because people will judge me on it, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is a terrible novel."
What does Paul Jennings do in your novel?
You don't know. He walks around and makes food.
And he writes children's television series.
Yeah, he does, and he makes me coffee, and sometimes he goes to the shops.
Who's the guy, the famous prophet? I want to say Nosdormu, but that's
Not,
wildly
no,
incorrect.
that's you're totally wrong. It's not the prophet. I was going to say Muhammad, but then I'm like, okay.
No, the
I was worried about the way this was heading. Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. Yes, Nostradamus is a fictional dragon.
Yes, Nostradamus is a fictional.
I thought
He's
he was a
real.
real
He's
person.
real, I guess, but he's fictional in the sense that he couldn't see shit, but people think he could. That's true. I think Nostradamus is full of shit. Whatever.
No,
Okay.
Paul Jennings, more accurate
He
than
is more accurate than
Nostradamus.
Yeah. How could you? Yeah. I mean, Nostradamus. If you've ever read his stuff, it's like four. It's like 4-line quatrains, right?
Okay.
They're called quatrains, which I guess that means 4 anyway.
Yes.
They're basically they're really hard to interpret unless you have some sort of clear link to something. Like this one that's calls Hister, and it's Hister. If you drop the S and put an L, it's Hitler. I'm like, oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Right
Whereas we get marvelous things from Paul Jennings about spaghetti lengths
to Mussolini, right?
Yes,
Mm-hmm. And he's worried about how Tony Abbott would become Mussolini. Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know. Could be.
Tony is the stand-in, right?
Tony is the stand-in.
making the art of baked beans.
Yes.
In protest against
Tony
Abbott.
Abbott. Of course. There you go.
Okay, so the Twist children come in the house.
Yeah.
And Bronson is talking about how he would win if he was allowed in the competition, but the older Twist is saying that he would be a professional, so he's not allowed in because he would beat everyone because he eats so much food.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think they just don't want him involved.
I
Do
don't-
they hate him?
Yeah, they might. I think it's like one of those big brother, big sister, older brother, older sister.
He just
thing.
ruins everything. Bronson
He does.
has a track history of just ruining things.
Yeah, but you can't say that to your little brother. Otherwise, it's
Yeah, this is true.
So
So they settle on him being Pete's coach. A cat comes out of nowhere. We find out later this is Nell's cat.
Cat was with Tony when he was
Yeah.
painting with the baked beans. And
Yeah.
that's, by the way, he's painting with the baked beans, and he's using a celery as a paintbrush.
Which, how would you know that?
Because I know
Like
that-
if you were looking at the art, like
you don't really know that until what's his name? The cat starts walking across, and then Tony's like, "Oh, I really love that." So it's he's obviously making prints on the canvas with
Yeah.
the baked beans.
But I mean, what is the significance of using the celery stick as a paintbrush? Because who would know that by looking at the art? Or is it like a thing where
It's an art
you can
thing.
appreciate it afterwards from knowing that it was
It
done
has
that
to
way?
be. It has to be. Look, yeah, I guess so. Modern art sort of thing. It's you got to understand what this was painted with a stick of celery. I'm like, well, that does make it better, you know.
The cat not only steps on the baked beans, but
Yeah.
it steps on the remote control from the teaser scene and hits a button that zaps a fly with fast forward. The fly gets really fast, buzzes around the room, and smashes through a window. And nobody notices.
Yeah, that means the fly has also been turned into a piece of steel or something.
What?
Steel hardened. If you flung
Oh,
a
'cause
fly
how
at a
would you
window,
do it?
I don't care how fast, you got to fly it really fast. Even then, right?
If it was going fast enough, it could break the window, right?
If it was going, I imagine that at the speed that it would be able to do that, it would start to deteriorate around itself, you know.
Like a comet coming in.
Yeah,
the
sort of like that.
atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't think a fly could actually do that. It would smash and hit. So
I think it
maybe
could break.
maybe when you fast forward something, it becomes it holds your matter,
Yeah.
your body at bay, and it creates a shield around you, and that propels you forward. I don't know how the physics work. I am not Neil deGrasse Tyson. Sorry to confuse you.
Don't be modest. We're both award-winning physicists.
This is true. You're that you're Michio Kakeru,
Who?
or whatever his name is, that Asian guy. He's Asian physicist man.
The guy that does the TV show.
Yeah, that's a
Is that
really
the
good
guy?
explanation.
He does like a science fiction science. Is that who you?
He's an Asian guy. He's got like long white hair or
Yeah,
long grey hair.
yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, he's cool, right? And then I'm the black science man, and you're Asian science man.
Bordering on casual racism.
Well, that's our favorite type of racism, by the way.
No, it's not. All racism is racism.
Well,
Except when it's casual. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay, so Bronson is going to be Pete's coach, and they decide the first thing that they need to do, instead of actually training, is spy on the enemy. So they break into the barn where the Gribbles are, and the Gribbles are force-feeding Rabbit, who's the big fat one, and they're saying, if you spew, you lose. So
Yeah.
they're just trying to get his, like, spewing tolerance up.
Yeah.
I guess the theory is here, if they feed him lots of stuff, it'll, like, expand his stomach.
I guess so.
But I've heard that the general theory involved in eating competitions, I don't know about preparation, but I know in, like, the day before, you're only supposed to eat, like, lettuce.
Yeah.
Because it, like, puts stuff in your stomach so it doesn't shrink, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
also keeps the size.
Yeah.
Because if you just don't eat anything, your
being-
stomach will
Being
contract.
fat, as I've heard, is a bad thing too.
Really?
Well, like it's like a theory that's like it's called the belt of fat. It's why like a lot of hot dog eating contests a lot of hot dog eating competitions are being won by skinny Asian guys, because like you got the fat Americans who are eating the hot dogs, but then they've got their fat around them,
stops
and the stomach can't
potential
expand any
contraction.
further. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like the skinny Asian guy, right?
He has no limit.
His limit is less because there's no fat in the way. So I'm like, I don't know how you fix that, but I don't know. Put him on a treadmill. He should be put on a treadmill too, because he needs to clear all of the stuff out of his body. Like, there's probably stuff in his colon that.
Well, if you're eating more, if you're exercising more, you're going to be using more energy, which will allow you to go through more calories. You know. I don't know how that actually applies to just eating a lot in one sitting.
I'm
But
not
over
sure
the course
either.
of the day, you would eat more, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think you just got to get your stomach bigger. I don't know. If you're a professional eater and you're listening to this podcast, please tell us how you do it.
Write in. We
Write
would
in.
love to interview you.
Go on our website and write into us.
We'll do a side interview. They're back at the lighthouse. They're upset. This is an ongoing theme in this episode. We get them in their rooms, the Twist children, and they're really depressed about the competition. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's just a competition. Like, just don't do it.
There's no way we can beat that guy. Because Pete's like, oh, I got to beat him because.
Well,
I
he's
wanna-"
trying to impress Fiona.
Which is really stupid because Fiona's like, oh, I'm going to boycott this.
Yeah.
So it's stupid. Okay, but then it being said, when we see her at the end, she seems very impressed with Pete. So maybe she's like, she outwardly says, "Oh, I don't really think it's a good idea."
think that-
but Pete can see it. He's got like master pickup vision. He's like, "Oh, no." She likes it.
I
She
think
likes it.
Pete's theory here is that even if she doesn't agree with something, he's better off doing that thing and showing how manly he is than just not doing anything and just looking like a normal guy. So if he's going to do something, he needs to win. He needs to do something and win rather than not do anything at all.
I get the whole winning thing.
So even if
but
it's something that she doesn't like, if he's winning, that makes him more attractive,
but aren't
even
there,
though
like,
she doesn't like the activity.
aren't there like other things he could be doing? Like, I don't know. There's like a track team maybe he could train
He's
for.
tried. In fairness, he's already asked her to marry him, and she said no. He's going to do what he
Well,
has
that was
to
the
do.
spaghetti in his pocket, right? That's coming out there when he asked him to marry him.
Peter is hooked up to a spaghetti machine. I'm not really sure of the mechanics of
It
this.
was like
but
a,
he has electrodes
on his
attached
head?
to his head, which is hooked up to a computer, which has like a picture of his anatomy, and just like bowls of spaghetti appear. Bop, 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 bop.
I couldn't
and
do that today.
Bronson has like printouts.
Yeah.
And he's like writing down things and comparing the printouts, and he goes, "You need to eat faster. You need to eat faster because of my calculations." So Bronson is apparently a genius.
Yeah, where did he get this program?
I don't know.
Like,
Did he
I don't
write the
understand.
code for it?
He had to have written the code for it. Like, I don't know where it came from, but yeah. And he's like, "Oh, my calculations." I'm like, Bronson, what?
If you
What
apply
are you
this to something
calculating?
else.
What is your algorithm? All right, what is it?
Outside, Bronson has hooked up another training scenario. He's got a really long piece of spaghetti that he's made from tying pieces of spaghetti together, and has Pete
weird.
on a balcony at the top of a lighthouse.
Yeah.
And Pete is chewing and eating this spaghetti as it goes, like,
Because like
this
the
one long
print-off-
piece of spaghetti that
the
goes into a
print-off
bucket.
did say that like you're just not chewing fast enough.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
So this is a chewing exercise to get Pete to chew faster. And Bronson has a megaphone and is encouraging him. Eat faster, Pete.
Sure you could do it. You could do better if like chewing gum would work better. Like if you just got a whole bunch of gum, put it in your mouth, and over time, like, you put enough gum in your mouth, you start chewing. Like you'd start building up muscle in your mouth.
Yeah.
Because like if you ever had too much gum in your mouth, it's like, oh my gosh. All right. Do that for a couple of weeks. Chances are your mouth muscle will be really fast and really strong.
Yeah, I'm not sure what eating the one piece of spaghetti actually achieves.
It doesn't do anything.
But now comes along.
Yeah.
And the music starts. Pete drops the spaghetti down into Bronson's megaphone. And they said, it was the music again. And Bronson makes a point of saying to Nell, how come you can never hear it? We always hear the music. How come you can never
Because
hear
she's
it?
in a coma.
An interesting thing I noticed in this episode, the music never appears when Nell's not there.
Yeah. See? There you go. So Nell is there. It has to be there, but she doesn't hear it. So my coma theory is looking pretty good right now, isn't it?
Back inside the house, somebody bumps the remote.
Yeah.
And it freezes the cat. And it becomes a taxidermy cat, basically.
It becomes frozen, yeah.
Tony goes over, picks up the cat, thinks it's dead. The cat's called Bad Smell, apparently, even though it's Nell's cat. Why did they let Bronson name it? Picks it up. It's like stiff. They lay it down. They think it's dead. Tony goes to tell Nell.
I love this scene so much. Sorry, I just got to interrupt you because it just reminded me of that Aussie movie.
Which movie?
Ever see Bad Boy Bobby?
I have not.
Yeah, and he wraps his cat in like glad wrap or
Yeah.
something, right? It's a really messed up movie. If anyone's seen it, they know what I'm talking about. He wraps it up. He basically suffocates it, and then the cat's still. And he's like, "Be still, cat. Be still." Then he carries this dead cat around with him everywhere.
Does he?
Yeah. He goes into this servo and he just puts it on the ground, and the guy's like thinks he's being robbed.
Yeah. Well, okay. Pete immediately knows that it's the remote.
Yeah.
How? I don't know. The remote, one of the qualities of the remote is that when you press a button, it shoots a laser.
Yeah, that's not
And
how
if
a
you get
remote
hit-
works, though.
Yeah. This is one of the magical properties that has been imbued in the remote from the lightning.
Yeah.
It now shoots lightning, and that's how it does its effect. But it shoots lasers, and if you get hit by the laser, that function happens to you. So I'm assuming that Pete saw the laser shoot out of the remote and hit the cat. He goes, "Oh yeah, it was the remote." So the siblings fight over the remote and accidentally freeze Linda.
Yeah.
Now comes in, is upset about the cat, and is grumpy, realizes that the cat is alive, and leaves.
I'd be pissed too,
Because
right?
they unfreeze the cat.
Because like Nell would be like, "You told me my cat is dead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry." Comes in, cat's fine. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why would you joke about that? Like, remember,
Yeah.
she's never married. All right. Chances are this cat is not her life, but it's probably akin to a second-level child. I mean,
A second-level
well, there's no
child.
other way to say it. It's like the same way that you're talking to your dog right now.
I'm not
right?
talking to my dog.
Hello, Joseph. And then you're like, oh, hello, dog. Right? You're patting your dog. Imagine
Yeah.
if someone goes, dog, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry, Joe, but your dog's dead.
Yeah.
He's inside and he's dead. You'd be like, oh, man, what? And then you'd be like, why would you do that? What is wrong with you? Psych.
It would be unfortunate indeed. So she leaves. Pete and Bronson fight over the remote. I don't really know why they're fighting, but they knock over the frozen Linda and then unfreeze her. Mm-hmm. And Pete goes, "This remote, it's dangerous." So immediately, they go outside and shoot their dad with it.
Oh, yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. In the wrong hands, of course, it's dangerous, is what he's
So
saying.
they go out there and they press pause on him while he's welding.
That's probably the worst time.
What is wrong with you, Pete?
Yeah, there's something wrong with you, Pete.
Do they harbour feelings of
resentment towards their
father because of their mother's death?
Probably, yeah. He probably reckons his mother, they killed his mother or something.
But they never speak about the mother.
I don't know, but like, it's a terrible thing. Like, if he was just, like, let's say, like, I don't know, he was doing something else in the barn or wherever it was, that's fine. But he's welding. That's like the worst thing you could possibly do. Imagine if he was accidentally pointed the weld somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? You could have burnt through something or even burnt himself, man. Like,
So
terrible people.
Expanding upon this,
Yeah.
Faye comes in
Yeah.
and is trying to talk to Tony while he's frozen. So this supports our theory that the the resentment towards the father because he's just welding like I think it's a cupcake tray, and is
it a cupcake tray?
It's something. He's welding something, and she comes in and is talking to him about, can you donate some art to the school?
Why?
So that they can raise money. They're doing... It's part of the whole gymnasium thing.
Okay.
Anyway, she is talking to him, and he doesn't realise because he's frozen. He's welding and cuts a rope or something that's holding this big contraption in the ceiling, which falls down and pulls his pants down. Now, Pete presses play, and Tony's real embarrassed.
Yeah, of course.
Pulls back up his pants, and then Pete hits repeat, which makes Pete hits repeat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. He was probably
Uh,
really happy about doing that. He was like, oh, yeah.
Pete and repeat. Makes Tony pull up his pants and down again because of the repeat. So up and down, up and down, up and down. And he does that repeatedly in front of Faye, who just looks at him weird.
Yeah.
Terrible. Just terrible. Anyway, we're with them later. We're with the Twist family later inside the lighthouse. And Mr. Twist wants to go to a spaghetti restaurant. Pete's in training for spaghetti.
Yeah.
He's trolling Pete, right?
No, I think he's helping Pete.
No, but he was laughing because Pete goes, "Oh no, I don't want to eat any more spaghetti," and he's like, "Ha ha ha ha."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess he's trolling Pete. I don't know. Maybe he's like, remember, he's a fan of baked beans.
Yeah.
He's Tony Twist, so he was like, that's what you get, you capitalist pig dog. You want all the spaghetti? Have all the spaghetti in the world.
So they go there, and the Gribbles are there as well, even though Rabbit is
in training as well. Well, I mean, where else are you going to train? I mean, remember they were eating tin spaghetti?
Yeah.
And like
real spaghetti's probably better.
Well, I can imagine, so I couldn't eat tin spaghetti over and over again. Like, it tastes different too.
Yeah, it's got a different texture.
Yeah. It's crazy different. So I don't know why they're there, but they are there.
Pete brings the remote for some reason.
Yeah.
And the Gribbles say, "Oh, why have you got that?" And they try to steal it from him, and accidentally shoot the senior Gribble.
Yeah.
And he gets
like
frozen and fast forward. Yeah,
he eats really fast.
Yeah. Pauses, and they say, "Oh, look at this!" And then they steal it from them, and they run away.
Yeah.
Even though their dad's still eating in the restaurant.
Well, I mean, you've got a new remote, so I mean,
go and do stuff.
Do whatever you want to do. Gribble twins, you don't need a reason.
The next day, we've got the Twist on the bus.
Yeah.
Peter's really upset to have lost the remote, but he's got a secret weapon.
What's the secret weapon?
He's got a mirror.
He's got a mirror. Oh, that'll work against a wave.
There's no sign of Gribble, but as the twins walk towards their school from the bus, which is a fair distance, by the way, the bus could have dropped them closer. They see the effects of the Gribble's havoc. We've got a bus going backwards. We've got a frozen dog that is stuck peeing.
Yeah, that would be awful. Imagine when he wakes up, right? If he's stuck peeing for 5 minutes, I mean, he'd be completely...
Well, I think that the stream is frozen as well.
Oh, okay, because I'm thinking to myself, that's weird too. Then imagine, how far does that extend when you bodily fluids?
I don't know.
Like, I know it's a bit
of
a weird conversation. I want to delve into this conversation. I gotta know. Like, if you did it, would it freeze? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm uncertain about how these effects actually work.
Oh well, in physics class.
Physics. Quantum physics.
Yes.
String theory.
Quantum entanglement.
They arrive at class and they're being made to sing "Clip Go the Shears." Is that the name of the song? "Clip Go the Shears, boys."
Clip.
Is that the name of the song? Clip Go the Shears.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's the Bush
song?
national anthem, isn't it?
The Bush national anthem.
Yeah.
It's definitely the Paradise national anthem.
National anthem. Paradise.
They're accompanied by a student band.
Yeah.
And Gribble shoots
the trombone.
Is it a trombone?
I think it was a trumpet. No, I thought it was a trombone.
Okay. Well, he shoots him with a fast forward, and he goes really fast, and like steam comes out because he's playing so fast. Snapper has to go at him because he's not playing in time. And then they start again.
Yeah.
And instead of shooting the trumpeter, Gribble shoots Snapper with a fast forward. And he's conducting them. I'm not sure why, because I don't know how much they would understand from him just waving his arms.
Yeah.
But he gets stuck waving his arms, and because he's in fast forward mode, he goes really fast and just stands there, like, conducting really fast, waving his arms around.
I think we need to remind people that Bronson dropped something that I think really important and says that, it only works for 5 minutes, and then after that it stops. You didn't pick that up in the episode?
When did he say that?
He said that when they're in the schools, right? And if you shoot someone with the remote, okay, it works for 5 minutes. And then it goes back to normal.
How did he know this? When did this happen?
I don't know, but it's just something that was slipped in, right?
Oh, okay.
That, so I think it was because, like, Pete was like, oh, you keep me doing something all day.
Oh.
And he was like, no, it only works for 5 minutes. And I think it was to, like, I guess, maybe it's the ending. Because at the ending, like, it would be easy. You could just, if it's for 10 minutes, you need to make someone stop. You could just stop them, pause them for 10 minutes, then he can throw up.
Yeah.
Right? But we'll get to the ending when it comes.
Yeah, Pete steals back the remote and
Yeah.
runs away. And because Snapper's engaged with his fast-forward conducting, we get a chase scene.
Yeah.
This is the most exciting part
It is.
of any Round the Twist episode. So they're running through the school, and Pete's shooting back at the Gribbles as they're chasing him, as firing laser bolts from the remote.
Yeah.
And they're ducking and diving and running through the corridor. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and
It's
everything
good.
that gets hit sort of like does certain different things. It's
we get
pretty
some
cool.
misfires.
Yeah.
The first one is they accidentally fast forward Miss James, or Faye, as she's writing on the blackboard in Bronson's class,
No.
and she's writing...
Isn't it she rewinds?
No, she's writing really fast.
I thought it was like Faye gets like shot rewind, and then she's not writing fast. The writing that she's writing goes off the board.
Oh.
Yeah, so like
okay.
so like all the writing starts coming off the board.
Oh, okay. I thought it was fast forward.
Yeah.
My mistake. They accidentally shoot a shoveler. There's a man shoveling in the...
For some reason,
I
shoveling
don't
a
know
grave.
why.
And
A grave
like
in the
literally,
schoolyard.
it just looked like it was big enough for a grave.
And they shoot him fast forward, and he starts shoveling really fast. We cut back to Snapper, who's being hospitalised.
Yeah,
They've
because like
called
obviously,
ambulance people, and
they're like, well, I mean, I would too. I mean,
he's on the ground now, just like conducting.
who do you
the air.
call? Is that a mental illness? Is that a
You call Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's
They accidentally hit repeat on a high jumper. This is like
So-
a sports carnival going on in the school.
is that?
Sort of, yeah, there's like people doing sports.
Maybe it's just like they're doing sports. Like
I don't know.
And like we did that in school every so often. We did sports.
So he's midway on his jump and he shoots backwards.
Yeah.
The Gribbles then tackle Pete and manage to steal the remote. And Pete's going, no, don't shoot. And they shoot at Pete, but he quickly blocks with his mirror and it shoots out and hits Rabbit, the big fat one.
Yeah.
And then Pete runs away and they go, oh no, Rabbit, but they don't hit play.
Yeah.
They just leave him
Rabbit there. Yeah.
They just leave him there.
And it's great at the end.
Yeah, at the end, we get deleted scenes in the credits.
Yeah.
And in the end, there's a shot of Rabbit standing there frozen, and then he does like a goofy smile at the camera.
He's just like, that would have been like, and cutting would be like,
The chase continues. They run past the digging man, who now has a massive hole. We see a librarian. She's carrying like a comically large amount of books, and she
There's
falls
too
in.
many books for that person. That's what everyone was
Too
thinking.
many books.
Too
She-
many books. That's going
she
to be
fall-
relevant.
She.
It's not even relevant now.
She falls into a hole. Snapper
Now,
is
sorry,
being
mate, I was
carried
gonna
away.
stop you there. That was-
Snapper's being carried away on an ambulance.
I'm just gonna
What did I
say-
miss?
You missed that. That was a statement about the death of the female role model and the rise of feminism.
What?
You know, traditional female roles dying. in
What,
the rise of
librarian?
feminism. Librarian? Yeah.
I don't think anybody's ever had a problem with librarians being traditionally female. That's one of the ones nobody has a problem with.
I'm sure someone does. I'm sure someone out there's pissed off.
It's like male construction workers. Nobody's upset about there not being
yeah.
female.
Yeah, there are.
No, well, what about rubbish tip workers? Nobody's upset about there's no being female
Well, people are
rubbish tip
upset,
workers.
but nobody's doing anything about it. You know, they're like, oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad that there's no female rubbish tip workers. Dang.
Yeah, nobody's upset about there not being male librarians. Nobody's calling for equality in that industry.
I know, right? But,
Even though there are.
yeah, apparently. You know,
We're a friend of the service industries
I like the service industry.
here on Tales from the Twists. We're a big fan of nurses.
Yeah, we
Notably,
like nurses.
we
and
like
librarians
nurses and librarians
And garbage men.
and garbage men
If it wasn't for the garbage men,
And
where would
dig-
our garbage go?
and dig hole people.
Dig
people
hole
that
men.
dig holes.
Yeah, we wouldn't have
Let's
our
include
holes.
them on the list of
Yeah, dig
professions
holes.
officially
We call them dig holes.
professions officially supported by Tales from the Twists. Dig holers.
Yeah.
Gribbles, they've lost Pete. So they're like,
Yep.
we've lost him. We cut to them back in the barn. They're strategizing. They say, we'll wait till he eats 10 plates and then we'll shoot him with
Yeah.
rewind.
Yeah.
They hear something. They jump over some big piles of hay and they're like, oh, we heard a noise. And Bronson is hiding there, but they don't catch him.
Yeah.
Back in the lighthouse, Linda is upset about how, they've got the remote, they're going to cause havoc, oh no, you're going to lose.
Yeah, because like Linda says they're going to cause
Havoc?
No. It was like you're going to imagine what happens when they get you're going to go on the seventh bowl.
Oh yeah,
and then you're going to rewind, right?
Yeah.
And then Bronson comes in and says, "Do you want to know actually what the plan is?" And I was like, "Oh, what is the plan?" I was waiting for them to say what the plan was, but because I was writing notes. The thing is, like, the plan is exactly what Linda says. So Bronson didn't contribute at all to the conversation. He should have said, "Linda, that is exactly what they plan to do."
This is classic Bronson, though, showing up when they have nothing to actually contribute.
Yeah,
it happens a lot.
Well, Bronson, she's not a very fleshed out character.
He is. He's a good character. He just doesn't. He never has anything to do in these episodes. He just shows up. It's like that one episode where they go to the tip.
He's like, "Oh,
he shows up for 5
you?"
minutes, gets thrown in a tree, and then leaves. Mm-hmm. They're at the competition. Linda and Fiona are parading around. Only pigs pig out, carrying the signs. Competition's about to start, so they sit down and watch. Yep. Great.
Good on you.
Just
good on
great,
you.
Great activism.
Future Peter members.
Just classic. Tony comes in and sits down between Snapper and Faye, who are they're talking. Yeah. I don't know if it's assumed that there's some sort of romantic interest here between Faye and Snapper, but they're friends.
Yeah, I think so.
He sits down between them and he goes, "Sorry, I pulled my pants down
the other day. Yeah.
Something came over me." And Snapper says, "I bet it did." What are you implying here?
Oh my gosh, I love some of these jokes.
It's pretty, like, some of this stuff in these episodes, pretty dark.
Yeah, it's pretty full on. It's like, bloody hell.
Like, the implications here are, I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tony says, "No, I blacked out." Which I think is even worse.
Yeah.
And Faye says, "Oh, don't worry. I think you have nice legs." Because she saw them because he pulled his pants down.
Of course she did.
Which could be interpreted as saying that he has something else that she finds attractive.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like, maybe. But that's a weird thing, anything to just say in there.
All of this is weird.
Yeah,
this whole conversation is weird.
This whole conversation would be uncomfortable for Snapper.
Yeah,
Snapper, he's sitting there, he'd just be sitting there with this weird look on his face like, "Oh, what do I do now?"
Snapper's one of the better actors in this show, and he's got some great reactions to the scene. If you have a chance, it's probably on YouTube, maybe.
I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm saying
I'm not saying that it is.
I'm saying that it is.
I'm not saying that it's not.
Yeah, I don't advocate stealing.
Or piracy.
Wink. Wink.
But if you did want to watch Round the Twist, what you can do is enter our competition, which you can find on our Facebook page.
Yes, go to win
the entire series of
our
Round the Twist.
competition. You will get an entire series.
And you don't have to be a pirate to watch the show.
Yes, but you can be a pirate and still win the competition. Just so you know, for all you pirates out there.
As long as it's an R pirate and not a digital pirate, because
that's just racist.
Because digital pirates are illegal.
That's pirate racism.
All piracy is illegal, but I think we support traditional piracy over digital piracy.
I do. I like traditional piracy.
Is that even worse? Is that worse? What? Is traditional piracy worse than...
It's so much worse.
I'm the captain now piracy. Is that worse than digital piracy?
So much worse. So much worse. Like, people, like... they went out and they plundered and raped and pillaged and shit. Well, I mean, the thing is,
that's like swashbuckling piracy. I'm talking about I'm the captain now piracy. Let's get on a small boat and take an oil rig.
That's even worse. That's armed conflict and hostage taking. You gotta ask me whether that's worse. It's like asking
Tales from the
which
Twist.
is worse, somebody starting the movie or ISIS.
I just want to note, Tales from the Twists. We do not support any type of armed conflict, digital or otherwise.
We do not support Somalian pirates. I support my pirates need to be swashbuckling and need to have peg legs.
You must have a parrot, and then we will support you.
It must talk like a pirate too. If it doesn't talk like a pirate, you're not a pirate.
That's called a budgie.
Budgie. No budgie smugglers.
We've got Tiger announcing the competition, and he's announcing the contestants. Mm-hmm. So we've got the skinny but ever hungry Termite Twist. Good name?
I think it's a bad name.
What would you rate it out of 10?
I'd rate it
How many spaghetti bowls would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it 5.
5 out of how many?
10. You said 10. You gave me parameters.
Did I?
Yeah, and 10's the highest, right? 10's the good, best.
I would assume so.
Yeah, well, I'm saying 5 because it's not very good. I mean, is it...
I like it.
It's
I
good.
would say six spaghetti bowls.
It's good, but it's like... Is it just trying to be demeaning, or is it like... as well as the fact that he eats like a termite eats through a house.
Yeah.
But it's like
It's better than the next one, which is tapeworm Tanya.
But that one's at least food related.
It is also disgusting.
Yeah, well, this show has never...
Is it saying that she has a tapeworm or she is a tapeworm?
She has a tapeworm, so she can eat so much.
That's gross.
That's even worse, yeah. That is disgusting.
How many spaghetti bowls?
How many spaghetti bowls? Probably 6.
I would give it 6 spaghetti bowls out of 10.
Yep.
The next one is Bessie, who is a larger girl.
Yep.
Bessie the Bottomless Pit.
Bessie the Bottomless Pit. Yeah, that'd probably be a 4.
4 spaghetti bowls out of 10?
Yeah, because it's not really not really a thing. It's like, we can't come up with something that's B related, so we'll just call it a bottomless pit.
Do you have any alternatives?
Bessie the Behemoth.
Bessie
the Big Fat Eater.
The Big Fat.
Bessie the Buffalo. Okay, this is harder than it looks, actually.
Bessie Behemoth is a good one.
Yep.
And the final one is Rabbit the Ravisher.
I thought Rabbit... That's a good one.
Rabbit's already a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Rabbits eat a lot, so... Yeah, Rabbit's fine.
Are Rabbit and Tiger their real names, or are they nicknamed?
It's a good question.
Because their teachers seem to call them by their nicknames, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like,
it happens sometimes because it's just... You prefer to be called that, but these are the names of animals.
I don't know. Yes, I'm going to say that's the real name. I don't see why. I don't know. Well, I don't understand why Gribble does the things he does, but he does the things he does. You know.
So we've got Tiger tells us our rules.
Yeah.
We've got most spaghetti bowls eaten in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We've got you must scrape clean your bowl.
Yeah.
So no leaving a little bit aside or anything. Scrape it clean. No spewing. And you've got to hold it in for, I think it was 5 minutes after the conclusion of the competition.
Spillage too.
No spillage.
Which is a bad thing, because like the first bite, you see Betty or whatever her name is, the behemoth, right?
The bottomless pit.
The bottomless pit. You see the first fork go into her mouth, and you see a piece of spaghetti fling off to the side. She's automatically already out of the competition.
We don't know how much lenience there is.
I don't think there's any lenience. I mean, if no spillage means no spillage.
This is a school competition.
And not only that, the spaghetti is
pro league.
Is probably is a high spill factor. These
spaghetti.
These aren't like,
it's less spill than hot dogs.
It's more spill than hot dogs.
No, yeah, that's what I meant.
More spill than hot dogs. I mean, are contained and the sauce. What about the sauce? Is there sauce?
Well, you don't I don't think they use sauce.
They had a little bit of sauce. It was like, I think at one stage
on the spaghetti you have sauce. Not really on hot dogs. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah, so like if a little bit of sauce comes off the side, I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
But I imagine if a bit of sauce would count.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. And it was sauce. It wasn't like there wasn't the meat.
Yeah, it was just
like bolognese.
Yeah, it was it would have tasted horrible.
That would have been okay. It wouldn't have been disgusting.
I don't know.
But if you're eating that much of anything, I think it would lean towards...
I guess the taste you wouldn't
disgusting.
Even care at that stage. Just be trying to eat it.
So the competition starts, and it's pretty good commentating from Tiger. Yeah, like we said, he's not bad.
He's a future
he's a good kid. The people are cheering. Mm-hmm. They're rooting for their favourite contestant. There's a lot of people going for Pete.
Yep.
Pretty popular guy.
He is.
Tapeworm Tanya is going crazy. She's already on plate 6. Bessie collapses. She's going like a machine, and then she collapses. And they're like, what? Tiger comes over. What happened, Bessie? You collapsed. What happened? She goes, oh, I don't know. I only had 12 plates for breakfast.
What a noob.
Clearly not a bottomless pit.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a noob play by her. Shouldn't have done that.
Should not indeed. They try to bring out a stretcher for Bessie, but they can't pick it up.
No, they can't pick her up because she's so fat.
Well, let's say large.
I'm sorry. No, this is the that's the joke.
There are downsides to being a bottomless pit.
I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that that's the joke they were going for. Let's just say it as it is. Because she's fat.
If you're eating 12 plates for breakfast,
it would have made it feel
chances
like,
are
as an actor, that
probably
would have made it felt like shit. Chances are they probably would have tried to pick her up, and then would have been like, "Too fucking heavy, too fucking heavy." She would have like.
She wasn't that fat. She was a large girl, but like she wasn't fat.
You don't call someone the bottomless pit if they're not supposed to be like the cliched fat character. Otherwise, you call her Betsy the beaver.
Tanya also has problems and collapses.
Yeah.
They put her on the stretcher instead. Bessie stands up and then helps them carry Tanya out.
Yeah. I think that would be terrible too, trying to carry someone on a stretcher when they like. Have you ever lied down after eating a big meal?
No.
Never?
No.
Really? You've never been tired after having a large meal?
I sit there.
Oh, okay. Well, if you've ever lied down, you'll know that like that's bad. That doesn't feel good in your stomach. Like
I've fallen asleep in lectures, but I was sitting up.
You have to sit up, basically. Like sitting up is like a big fat. Like you've eaten too much.
Yeah.
Because like if you lie down, like you just want to fucking queue up.
Yeah.
So it's like you should be getting these kinds of people to sit up at least.
Back in uni, I would eat like a large amount of Nando's or something. And
In the uni or
at uni, yeah, and then go directly to a lecture and
just
fall
be like.
asleep. It's down to Pete versus Rabbit.
Yep.
Pete's on 7, Rabbit's on 9. Then we get a fast forward bolt from Gribble on Rabbit. Rabbit starts to eat like a maniac.
Yeah. Because he's been hit with the
Fast forward
button. Yeah.
He goes 13 plates, 14 plates,
Yeah.
20 plates, 8 plates, and Pete's still on 8. Rabbit, Tiger's going crazy.
How many plates did he eat by the end?
I think it was 25 or 30. Okay. Tiger's going, national record? International record?
Hang on, let me just work that out for you, Joseph.
What?
Would you believe that I've actually weighed a plate of spaghetti before? And it's about 280,
Why
300
would you
grams.
do that?
I had to do it for when I was doing I had to visually represent how much not eating 280 grams of food is because of a product we were making to pharmacists.
Okay.
And I was like, that's literally a plate of pasta is like 280 grams.
Okay.
And it's like by 30, that is a lot. I can't do the maths. I'm just going to go up to 300. How much is that, Joe? You did maths B. A lot.
Why did you make it 300?
Because it's easier. I can't fucking do this. So it's 9 kilos.
Is it 9 kilos?
Yeah.
You add the 0 there. Okay.
9 kilos.
I'll take your word for it.
9 kilos of spaghetti.
That's a lot to eat.
Yeah, and how much does this child weigh? Probably around about 60 kilos.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, well, we'll go 70. Right?
60's fair.
60's fair, right? How much is that? How much of his body weight is now
Spaghetti?
It's like about like what?
9%.
10%. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maths guys out there, tell us how much that is.
He's about to explode.
Yep.
The time's over, but he's still going. He can't stop. I don't understand why they just don't hit play here.
What do you mean?
They're like trying to get him to stop, but he's still eating.
You mean why didn't they press pause?
Yeah, press pause.
Yeah, I agree. Like they should have pressed pause because remember that Bronson said earlier, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I said, well,
yeah, that would be enough time.
He said 10 minutes. See, remember that was the criteria.
Yeah, but they could just hit pause
twice.
again.
Exactly, that's what they should have done, but they didn't.
Yeah, it's strange. So instead, Gribble goes up, and Senior Gribble goes, "James, you hold those lips, boy. Don't let him vomit."
But his stomach is expanding at like a record. Like I would be more concerned with my child's safety.
It's
like,
not his child. It's his child's friend.
Whatever. Even if I was James Gribble, I'd be like,
"That's my mate."
I'd still be like, that child's chest is like. The fact is, why hasn't his stomach exploded? Is the question.
Yeah, it could be very dangerous.
Like that is a dead child.
That is a dead child.
Dead, man. That is like just waiting to explode.
Buttons are shooting off.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he gives way, and vomit, just massive vomit, erupts from his mouth.
This is
and
vomit
covers.
of just spaghetti.
It covers everyone. Just enormous amounts of spaghetti cover the entire audience.
Yeah.
And shoots really far as well. Projectiles. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like normally when you vomit, what's the range on that? Like a meter?
I could probably vomit
2 meters?
that chair over there. So maybe about 2 meters.
It depends.
If I had a running start, I could probably do 3. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to measure that one day, like how far you can vomit.
You can do that. That sounds like something. You know what? You should go to uni and do a doctorate on how far you can vomit.
How far you can vomit.
could do it. I know you could.
Under what degree? Physics?
I don't know. They'll make up a fucking
Bio.
category for you knowing academia. They'll just give it to you.
They'll give it to you. It goes all over the audience. Everyone's covered in spaghetti. The Mr. Twist, Faye, the Gribbles, everyone's covered in spaghetti. Pete then takes the remote from Gribble, who is pinned to the ground with spaghetti.
Yeah.
And points it at, what's his name? The big guy?
Rabbit, yeah.
Points it at Rabbit. And he's going, no. And Bronson goes, yes. And Linda goes, yes. And Pete goes, Yes, and then you see him hit rewind, and you just see Rabbit scream,
Yep.
and then the episode ends.
That's
Terrible message we're sending here.
That's a form of torture.
Why
probably.
would he do that? That is a horrible thing to do.
Yeah, and you know what's weird is that think about what would happen
What did they do to
afterwards.
Pete? They
What
never
would-
did that
what
much to
would what
Pete.
would happen afterwards?
It would all get sucked back in.
Imagine the room seeing that shit. Like you've seen a child eat so much spaghetti and throw it up, but now you see that spaghetti start to magically come off your clothes back into your mouth, and it would just be like,
And I'm assuming he vomits it all back up again.
well, he'd have to, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Like, or actually, I don't know because it's weird because like you could rewind it far enough back where basically he stops eating as much.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it ends. I mean, I think this is the joke is that all the stuff goes back in your mouth.
Yeah, but then it would come out eventually.
Yeah, of course.
You would
it'd
have to
come out
vomit it back
eventually.
again.
Yeah, well, I guess so. So I don't know. Maybe what you should
It's-
do is you
it's
vomit into
horrible.
his mouth. You put it back into his mouth, right? And then you pause him. You take him on on a stretcher or something. We've already established a stretcher. You take him out to the lighthouse area and you put him on his knees in front of like the cliff.
What?
Dead man's cliff or whatever.
I would have thought take him to hospital and get his stomach pumped.
No, mate. Then he just vomits off the cliff. Okay?
Dead Man's Dyke is that
Dead
what it's
man's
called?
dyke into the water.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's no need. No, don't worry about the spaghetti. Spaghetti's in the water now. It's nobody else. It's nobody's problem.
Yeah, they
Or
could-
go to the sewage farm. Whatever. And I'm sure that guy from the sewage farm would be really interested in seeing this. He's got a.
He likes to collect weird things.
He does. He'd be like, oh, I gotta collect me some of that.
So that's the end of the episode. We get credits. We get a couple of deleted scenes here.
Yeah.
Like we said, we get the grinning from
Rabbit.
Rabbit after he's frozen. We
Yeah.
also get the digging man,
Digging man.
the hole digger.
hole digger, man. Yep.
Dig a hole.
Dig a hole.
Dig a holer.
He's a hole
We get-
digger.
We get him digging up books.
Yep.
That would have been good to see in the episode.
That would have
I
been
can
good
see
to
why I
see.
didn't have time.
I don't think it was him though digging out the books. I
Yeah.
thought it was the librarian throwing her books up.
No, it
as
was
she's
him
getting out of the hole.
because he's still digging.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That the woman's in the hole, you know.
yeah.
I mean, you know what's happening then, right? That's even worse. He's plowing his shovel into the woman repeatedly. He's
Yeah.
chopping that woman to bits.
Yeah.
That's why it's not in the episode. That's awful. That's the most horrible thing I ever seen. Jeez Louise.
And that brings us to the end of the episode.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, it was fun.
I liked it. It was action packed. It was. It was on his city of
It's
pants,
one of the.
you
It's
know?
one of the. It's definitely one of the better episodes.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty good.
On a ranking of like from 10, from 10 to Birdsdoe being -7. Mm-hmm. Where would you rate this episode?
Well, you got really terrible parameters there. I mean, -7. So where's it? Where's the top? 10?
10.
Okay.
It's from a Birdsdoe.
How
to
much
10.
bird shit? How many doing?
We'll do how many plates of spaghetti?
How many plates of spaghetti? All right. I'm going to give it a plate of spaghetti score of 7 spaghetti with a side order of salad.
I'm going to give it 7 spaghettis with 3.5 garlic breads.
That's good. Actually, you know what? I'm going with garlic breads too. Why would I have a salad? I forgot that you can have garlic bread much better. Yeah, you're right.
I would also put in a bowl of salad as well because I
Because you gotta
do
share,
like
I guess,
salad.
yeah.
As long as it's got Italian dressing.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Italian dressing. Well, it's an Italian restaurant. You got to assume so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it's not Italian, right? It could be German.
Well, you could put like balsamic or something on it. That would be good as well.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
What do you mean it would be German?
I don't know. A German guy owns it, and he runs like a maybe. There's people in Germany who are probably like grow up thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be a spaghetti."
I'm going to be a spaghetti master.
Master, yeah,
It's
of
like-
spaghetti.
it's like in
and then the
Japan.
person in Japan is like, a person in Germany is
Yeah.
like, their parents are like, no, that's Italian. You will become an automaker, but I want to be a spaghetti farmer.
This is komput. It's like in Japan where they study their entire lives to become sushi masters.
Shiro dreams of sushi.
Yeah.
What is it? Hans dreams of spaghetti.
Hans dreams of spaghetti. He goes against his family's wishes to study in a
He lives his
prestigious
dreams.
spaghetti school and become the spaghetti master in Australia
gonna
in
be
a
king
small
of
town
spaghetti.
called Paradise.
Well, you know, gotta live the dream.
Anything else you want to talk about from this episode?
Not from this episode, of course.
But would you like to tell me about your lunch?
Yes, I would. You know what I had for lunch today?
What?
I had Poppy's burgers, just Poppy's.
Just
Yep.
just Poppies.
Yeah, just Poppy's.
Fantastic burgers.
They are actually really good burgers.
Other brands are available.
We're not being plugged by this sponsor either. We don't have any sponsorship. I just went. My wife was like, "Hey, you want to go to Poppy's?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll go to Poppy's." Went to Poppy's, ate ourselves crazy. If you live in the Brisbane area, if you never had just Poppy's, go to Just Poppies.
Other brands are available.
Yes, other brands.
This is not a sponsorship deal.
I would like it to be a sponsorship deal.
Could be.
Could be. Be nice. Hey, Just Poppies. Why don't you swing me some, calypso sauce and some burgers?
What type of burger did you have? Beef?
I
Chicken?
had a cowboy burger, which was a beef, just meat burger. I like my food
It has
to have
cabana,
meat.
right?
Yeah, it's got meat of everything.
Every
right?
type of meat.
I like to feel like I've hunted the thing multiple
Yourself.
times, but I haven't really.
You've been
It
out.
brings
in the
me back
field
to my
alone.
manly, masculine roots.
Manly roots.
I'm hunting some animals. Fucking, got my spear ready. Boom.
Okay, well, we're out of time.
Yes,
so
we are.
let's wrap it up. If you've enjoyed our episode, it'd be good if you could let us know. And you can do that in a variety of ways. First of which is Facebook, Tales from the Twists on Facebook. You can also find us on many of the other social medias, including
YouTube. We have YouTube. If you love some funny videos, you love some great videos.
Is YouTube a social media?
Yes, technically it is. Yes.
It's a video media.
No, well, I mean, it's social because of the... Got to explain this to you. All right. It's social because of the comment section.
Oh, because the comment section.
Mostly. Because you can share and you can develop communities. It's... I like to think that it's not... You are right, it is a video thing, so it's less social than you think. But it's just as social as something like Instagram is social for a brand. You can upload whatever you want there.
Are we on Instagram yet?
No, we're not on Instagram. What the fuck would we be on Instagram for?
Are we on Twitter?
I'll get a Twitter eventually. Just know that we're on YouTube. All right, Tales from the Twist. Look us up on YouTube. We also got a website, which is talesfromthetwist.wordpress.
Yes.
Something like that. Just go to our Facebook and you'll find our webpage.
You can also email us. Do we have email?
No, I only got my email.
Okay, well, don't email us.
You can go to our
Facebook
website.
message us.
Go to our website.
There's
go
an
to
email form.
Right, ask Nell. There's a little form. You ask Nell a question and she'll get back to you. And by the way, I'm Nell, just so you can wink, wink, smiley face.
Are you Nell in the TV canon or just for our purposes?
I've said too much already. I can't tell you.
And that's all for today. Remember our competition. You can see the details. It's pinned on our Facebook page. You can win the copy of the entire series of Round the
There's
Twist.
some really great comments there, but some of them aren't going to get in the draw because if you got some friends, pester them to like your comments so that you can get in the competition.
Read the instructions. You need to be in the top 7 likes, and then we'll put you in a bag.
We will print out your comment, and I will put it into a big hat, and then we will draw it out.
Yeah,
one by one, by the way, so the winner will be at the bottom of the hat.
Well, what?
Builds suspense. It builds suspense.
Can't
man.
we just do?
No, I don't want to do that. That's bullshit. I want to build suspense and be like, oh.
We will discuss this off air. My name's been Joseph Lewis,
and I'm Anthony Bull.
Thank you for listening from two Tales from the Twists. Thank you, and good afternoon.
Goodbye.